What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Move, Groove, Grow podcast. This is where I share with you guys, this segment is where I share with you guys behind the scenes updates and whatnot in me growing my companies, personal lessons, challenges, and whatnot. Primarily for me to document the process, and maybe in that process, you guys get some sort of nugget that helps you along your own journey. But this is primarily documenting the journey. Okay, so main thing in terms of like the EmeroyTV, this part of the YouTube brand, or if you're listening to me on Spotify, is I streamed last Thursday. It's been a while since I've done that. I think it's been 2 months, and I usually have a hard time being consistent with streaming because of work scheduling, visits to my family in Arizona, rehearsals. So it makes it hard to be consistent. But I was glad I was able to do that. I did about 11 videos. Usually I do about 4 or 5, 6 if time allows. But I decided to go with with a whole new format that I've been thinking about, that I found enjoyable, and which kind of gave me the permission, or not permission, like the inspiration to go react to at least 11 videos. There's a whole lot. I don't remember everything off the top of my head, simply because there's a lot on my mind in terms of things to work on. But it was a pretty fun format. It switched things up from the usual way of doing things. If you guys if you're watching this, you guys would know. But if not, usually the usual format is I do one video at a time, and I do a reaction and analysis and so the main reason I do live reactions is because I take requests on my Patreon, and doing live reactions with these requests are kind of a way we can kind of watch together, and I share like my thoughts to the person who requested it. The person who requested it usually isn't always there, but it's kind of a way they can, if they wanted to, they can be there to kind of connect and share with me and talk with me as I'm kind of watching the video that they requested. But usually I do like one video with a reaction and then analysis, and that sometimes goes from like 15 minutes to 40 minutes, depending how analytical I get, which gets pretty long if there's like 6 other people waiting for the requests. So I decided to switch it up in the recent new format. So make sure you guys go check it out if you. So yeah, my nose is itchy. So make sure you guys go check that out on the Twitch while the VOD is up, or on the Patreon once it's there, so you guys can kind of check that out. I really had a lot of fun doing this new format. It was refreshing. I added more of a competition format, which is kind of the world I grew up in when it came to dancing. I gave it 3 rounds of scoring to make it a little bit more excuse me. So yeah, in the competition format, I gave it like 3 different ways of scoring, and honestly, it was just really, really, really fun to do that. Albeit some parts, quote unquote competitors were pretty obvious from the start. I thought it was still pretty interesting because I did because I added my input on the human side, but I also had this. I also used Sync Trainer, which is an app created by Techie Ray, who used to do the computer analyzes how synchronized K-pop groups are. So he created an app that dancers can use, which I've also used on my own dance company, Temper Tantrum. But I decided to use it for that, so it can be like the second judge to kind of balance things out. And it came out with some pretty awesome results, and very interesting in results. So go check that out. Again, this whole new format is only exclusive to anyone who watches the stream. It will not be available on EmeroyTV. It's only available on the VOD, on the stream on Twitch. So go check it out if you guys want to see that. So anyways, just recapping this past weekend, we recently had a pretty successful shoot this past weekend yesterday. We filmed at 2 locations. If I look over here and you're watching on YouTube, it's because I'm referring to my notes. We filmed at 2 locations. One was at a train set, one was at Echo Park. The biggest concerns primarily throughout these shoots were time and people. The first one about time was we had 3 hours initially on the train set, and we didn't really have a great successful shoot on June 30th. We had 4 hours and it felt rushed. A lot of all the shots were not very good, to the point where we are doing reshoots for everything. So I was concerned about this one in terms of time, because less time, and a little bit more in a space that not everyone's familiar with. But how I handle it, and I think also with the result of it was, I planned like crazy for it this time around. I rebuilt the set to be in 3D so I can kind of get an idea of the shots that we want. I also wrote down all the worst case scenario situations. What are the things that we need to handle first, if this then that kind of situation, so I can handle it ASAP and address it and communicate it to the team, so that way it's kind of like at least some sort of awareness prior to instead of it being a surprise. The next thing was at Echo Park, which was people. It's a public space, and sometimes there are people that are kind of trying. From my experience, there are some people that try to get involved when they shouldn't be, because they're not sure what we're doing. So they try to throw themselves into the situation. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. People kind of just they're more looky-loos than people trying to like get involved. And especially in LA, there is a situation with the homelessness, so sometimes that happens, but fortunately that wasn't the case. And the other concern at Echo Park was the heat. It was 94 degrees. It's not as hot as other places, but it's dancing in the heat for almost like 2-3 hours is a lot. Fortunately, the way we handled that was obviously we bought like a fuck ton of water. We had electrolyte packs. We found a spot to consider home base, so we would always go there after every takes, like take as many breaks as we needed. And fortunately also we had a very nice breeze throughout the whole shoot, which made it way more bearable. It didn't even feel like 94 degrees, so which was thank God that was the case. Okay, so in terms of what's next, as my hair is kind of getting crazy and you can kind of see Max in the back working very hard, she also did a lot of the photo shoots, a lot of the photos during some of our downtime at the shoot, which is also kind of awesome, which is a kind of like another bonus, because in terms of how because of the preparation that we took, like I took in terms of like the game plan, and then the team knowing what they needed to do, we had like an extra 45 minutes to just do additional things we wanted on set, and which was really nice. We were able to do other mini projects that I had brought up to the team, but everyone kind of got to use the space for their own stuff as well. So now going back into what's next, the next filming thing as part of the whole Universal Rhythm filming is August 11th. Essentially, what I'm excited about it is it's at a multi-set location. So the set has different types of vibes. One's a bodega, one's an arcade, one looks like a bank vault. So all of which fit in terms of the things we're going to be doing. The challenges I think we're going to be handling with that is dealing with the lighting, because the sets that we went to yesterday didn't really involve lighting, because we liked the lighting setup there. We wanted to feel a little bit more authentic, like with the whole, like we were at the park, so left it as is, can't do much with that. But also at the train set, we wanted to feel like we were actually at a train set and not like dress it up with any like additional lights. But this other one, we do need the additional lights for the mood that we want, which will be a little bit more involved. So that's something I'm concerned about, because that's something that we haven't exactly done yet. So how I'm planning on us tackling it for these upcoming rehearsals is practice like the actual shoot date. So whatever it is in terms of blocking, in terms of space, we do that. Like we actually do a take, watch it, see what we can improve. But also I think we're planning on bringing the actual lights so we can adjust as needed. That way we have the rehearsal and practice there, and it's nothing too new in terms of going on to set, because the last thing we need is like a whole bunch of extra surprises that we could have prepared for. Okay, so along with that, we are performing at Mixed Match Dance Festival. I believe Max has been sending the tickets for you guys in regards to where to purchase if you guys want to come watch us. I'm excited to actually hit the stage with everyone. It's a back-to-back one at that, because it's been a while since we've hit the stage, because we've been very, very, very busy with the filming, and also we've kind of been denied for some of the dance festivals that we've applied to. Either one, we're too big of a group because there's 24 of us, or we just don't meet the criteria that they're looking for. So yeah, so I guess the challenge with this upcoming one is that we haven't touched this routine in a while. We have all the blocking done. It's just shaking the rust off it. So along with how we're tackling that is we're going to essentially just be rehearsing that as well the next 2 weeks. I feel pretty confident with the people that are going to be doing it. It's just, again, shaking the rust off. So I would say that the biggest lesson of, I'd say, the week is that whole John Wooden quote of, if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. That whole quote, that was definitely ringing true to me this time around. Like, it's just a nice reflection, because this had the same level of rigor compared to the other shoots I've had. I was really reflecting on this June 30th shoot and why it just was such a mess, in my opinion. It was because I did not have the same level of rigor preparing compared to the previous one. So I didn't do what worked before. I just assumed I've done this before, it should be pretty straightforward. Nope. It was, to me, personally, like a disaster. I felt very unprepared, because I was essentially what I didn't want to be, which is someone who is trying to figure it out on the fly. Albeit there are moments where you need to do that, but I usually prefer coming in with a very strong game plan of what we're going to try to shoot. I only had a small idea of what we're going to shoot, but it wasn't a very clear idea. This recent shoot, I was very black and white of like, this is what we're going to do, and if there's time for extra shit, we'll do that. But yeah, the extra prep work helped. Like, even creating recreating the sets in 3D helped. Visualizing the how the day's gonna go helped. Before the shoot day, I was going to sleep visualizing how the shoot day was gonna go, and even planning out the worst case scenarios of like what will happen if these things happen, like if this and that. Like I said, just being ready for that as much as possible. Like, everyone making sure that they have extra wardrobe if someone's missing something, water, backup location in case things don't work out. For example, Echo Park, if we get kicked out there, what's the next location? So things like that. So also that means taking a hard look at the game plan, and adjusting if it wasn't working. And my original game plan for all these shoots was originally just film everything by July, and we kind of like front load it for the first few months, and it just was more stressful. And by the time we did our first shoot day, I think it was a disaster. So with that, like, we went from aiming to front load everything and film everything in 1 month to let's focus on one shoot date a month and prepare for that, and slow down the amount of filming we're doing, which works because it based off last week's what do you call it, lesson, make haste slowly. While it will take longer over time, it'll be better. Again, ideally, we're in a situation where everything is already good to go, but unfortunately, we're not. Temper Tantrum doesn't exactly rehearse twice a week. We only rehearse once a week for 4 hours, so that's not a whole lot of time to really get the reps in. So we just gotta adjust with the current circumstances of how we have things structured. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this update. Watch us at Mixed Match if you happen to be in the LA area, and if you're not on the Patreon, check it out. Come check it out if you guys are fans of Street Man Fighter, Be Ambitious, Street Woman Fighter, all the exclusives in terms of the reaction stuff. But other than that, appreciate you guys. See you guys in the next video. Peace.